What is replacing Dragon Ball Super on Fuji TV? Well, that is the 2018 series of Gegege no Kitaro. And basically, this franchise basically has been going on for various years, decades at this point, and basically this is series 6 of the Gegege no Kitaro anime, and basically each decade they do an adaptation of the Gegege no Kitaro manga. Now going into this, I basically knew nothing about the Kitaro anime and manga. All I knew is that it was taking over Super's time slot, so I'm not going to bullshit you guys. When I am doing this episode 1 review of Gegege no Kitaro, the 2018 series, I have no idea going in about any of the characters or stuff like that. All I know it's replacing Dragon Ball Super, and this property has been around for 50 years. I mean, this episode 1, aired on April 1st, 2018, and the anime property has been going around for 50 years. And some of the familiar cast members are from Dragon Ball: Masako Nozawa, Toshio Furukawa, and Mayumi Tanaka, just to name a few. Without further ado, let's get into Gegege no Kitaro Episode 1 review. So basically, the premise of Kitaro is that people have been suddenly turned into trees in this opening sequence in Episode 1, and this is actually kind of interesting how a YouTube vlogger, we get introduced to this scene, introduced to this setup by a YouTube vlogger, filming the streets, running around Japan, recording a video, and just generally just being an idiot. This reminded me of Logan Paul and his vlogs, so I thought that was quite funny, and overall this edition of Kitaro, the 2018 Kitaro series, is leaning heavily towards the technology-based sort of style of having lots of cameras and, members of the main cast finding things out through YouTube and Google and message boards and stuff like that in this edition of Kitaro, so I thought that was quite interesting, thought it was pretty cool. And my background is in Dragon Ball, and talking about Dragon Ball, where there's a lot of futuristic stuff in Dragon Ball, but there's not much sort of cell phones or iPads. I mean, there is sort of in Super, but not much. It's mostly sort of futuristic, spaceships and hovering cars, stuff like that. So this was interesting to see. But anyway, it turns out that people have been turning into trees, and even this YouTube vlogger ends up being turned into a tree, and it turns out that a yokai called Nobayagari is turning these people into vampire trees, it seemed, and then they sort of suck the life and energy out of, other humans and stuff. And this yokai was sealed centuries ago, but the seal was recently broken and the yokai returned and started, making a mess of things in the city by turning people into trees. And when one of our leads, Mana Inuyama, finds out from a neighbor kid that a person known as Kitaro can vanquish these yokai and can be located if she mails a letter to him using the yokai mailbox, she, proceeds to mail him a letter. And the neighbor's grandma originally told him, by the way. At first she doesn't really believe him, and she's just kind of going along with it because some other guys were giving the neighbors a bit of a hard time. The neighbor's just a little kid, so she's like, okay, why not just go along with it? So she asks where the mailbox is via the internet, the yokai mailbox, in order to seek out Kitaro, the slayer of these yokai, these evil sort of yokai. And so she asks where the mailbox is via the internet. Again, like I said, how this series is going to be heavily focused on technology, which I assume wasn't in the other Kitaro anime, since I'm not going to bullshit you, I haven't, watched the other Kitaro anime, so this is new to me. So, but I assume that this is all new, and this is all to update, this story is just being updated through a modern lens, hence why there's lots of technology-based jokes and humor and, stuff like that. So anyway, at first she doesn't believe him, but he's getting a hard time about this and believing in yokai, so she goes along with it, and she knows where the mailbox is via the internet, and she mails the letter, and then after few hours after, Kitaro appears with his dad, named Daddy Eyeball in this anime incarnation at least, and he's introduced with his signature clop clop sound, clop clop, and that's the sound that wood makes, and he has wooden shoes, and the neighbor said that like, oh, you'll hear him because of the clop clop sound that he makes via his wooden shoes. So Mana hears the wooden shoes and she's like, oh, what the hell? And then Kitaro appears with his dad, Daddy Eyeball, voiced by Masako Nozawa, which I thought was really cool. And when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, that's awesome, Goku is an eyeball now. But yeah, I really liked this episode actually. I thought it was quite interesting, and I will start making Kitaro reviews if you guys want to, me to make Kitaro 2018 reviews. But anyway, Kitaro goes and seeks out the yokai that has been turning people into trees, and this is where it turns into sort of action. Now, the first time Kitaro goes and seeks out the yokai, he actually gets turned into a tree himself. He sort of sacrifices himself because the yokai in this case was going to turn Mana into a tree, but anyway. Kitaro sacrifices himself, but he just turns out to be fine. And this was a goofy little segment where you see like sort of a fruit on the tree, and then like the Daddy Eyeball was like, oh, he's alive, and then he sort of pops out of that, and he's all naked, and then like Mana's like, oh, she gets embarrassed. And then, yeah, and Kitaro's quite an interesting guy. Like, he's quite an interesting character in this reincarnation, this 2018 anime. I like him. I like this anime overall so far. Like, episode 1 was really strong, and it was paced very damn fast. But anyway, let's get right into the plot here, once again. So Kitaro, the first time it wasn't successful, they go back down again to finish off the yokai, and this was when the action took place, and this was very unexpected. I was going into Kitaro, sort of going in thinking it was a mystery show, but it was really action-packed. Now, I don't know whether this is with the other Kitaro anime, or if it's just, a new addition into the 2018 anime, but I really liked the action. I thought it was cool. It relied heavily on spectacle, and yeah, I liked it. But here are my overall episode thoughts. So, Gegege no Kitaro, 2018, episode 1. This is my short review, now that we've gone through the basic plot. I liked it. I thought, as I said before, the episode was paced really fast. Like, it just got straight into it, which I really liked. I assume they wanted to get straight into it for the fans of Kitaro that have just watched it over and over, like, throughout the different reincarnations, and just want to get to the plot and the action and the meat of it without getting all bogged down into introducing Kitaro again, for like the 5th or 6th time, because this is the, anime number 6 in the Kitaro franchise. So I assume Toei just want to get straight into the action and the meat of it. So yeah, I liked that it was paced very damn fast, and it was paced to a point where I did know who Kitaro was, and I knew all of his characters, but I wasn't bogged down in all the details and stuff. It just was really good, and as a newcomer to the Kitaro franchise, watching in, it was pretty clear. Like, they didn't skim over certain stuff. I wasn't left, like, asking questions like, who is this guy, and how is he related to him? Like, what's going on? That was nice. I thought that was cool. The use of technology, while it was kind of, like, interesting, like, to see, like, lots of, like, modern technology in this Kitaro anime, this thing that has been around from, like, many decades now has, like, modern technology. It was interesting to see, using iPads and, iPhones and stuff like that. And even, the seal that was, keeping away the yokai, the Nobayagari, the reason why the seal was broken in the first place was just a dude just, like, was like, let's record a YouTube video, I found a seal, let's break it, like, I found this cool thing, and let's film it. And that's how Kitaro and Daddy Eyeball found out, and they were like, what's going on here? Like, why would you do that, the fool? And I really liked Daddy Eyeball. He was my favorite character in this, as well as Kitaro. I just really like Kitaro. the character. He just seems like, I don't give a shit. I'm used to this. I'm used to just vanquishing the yokai, no biggie. And then like Mana is sort of like, what the hell? She's reacting to this, like, what's going on? So leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. What did you think of Gegege no Kitaro, the 2018 adaptation of the franchise, episode 1? I thought it was really cool, and Mana and, Kitaro and Daddy Eyeball, they were all strong characters, they were all entertaining characters, and yeah. So at the end of the episode, Kitaro gets shot by an arrow by a mysterious, person, and the episode ends with screaming, basically. It's just Mana like, what the hell? And then she like just screams. And that's where the episode ends, after they save the day from the, previous yokai that turned people into trees. And yeah, I just really liked the episode. I thought it was strong, it was fast-paced, which I liked. I don't like getting bogged down in all the details. We can explain everything later and the backstory behind Kitaro, but right now, let's just get into it, let's just have fun, and I really dig that. I thought it was awesome. A little minor complaint I have is that with the technology, Mana was like, how do you even write letters again? And even though it was kind of a joke, it was like, haha, see how, futuristic and look how cool we are. I thought it was kind of silly. It's like, no shit, you know how to write a letter, love? Like, I don't know, I just thought it was weird. Just that line was just weird, but, apart from that, I have really no complaints. I thought the animation and art were fine. I really like the character designs, and the music was pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. So, yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. You can find Kitaro on Crunchyroll and Anime Lab, and probably Verve. I have not checked myself. I don't really use Verve since I am an Australian, but it's probably on there as well. So yeah, please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.